Hey there, welcome to another tutorial from the Happy Journals PLR Club. The point of all my tutorials is that you learn something actionable you can use in your business. Mostly, I just talk about PowerPoint. But today we're combining PowerPoint with Amember. This could be a game changer for you. It was for me. After this tutorial, you'll be able to create a customized buy button that you can correctly link with your Amember cart and place on any page. There are a few different reasons you'll want to consider doing this, if you use Amember. If you don't use Amember, the process of adding buy buttons to your site will be different to what I'm about to discuss. I'll explain why I create my own buttons and then I'll show you other ways you can create Amember buttons, but why my way is the best way. Amember can feel like a complicated beast at times, but I love it, too. So, the first reason I do what I'm about to show you is because, personally, I don't like using Amember for my sales pages. They don't look great, they're clunky, and they're not amazing for making sales. So, I always create a sales page using my Thrive Themes page builder. Other page builders are available, of course. Now, Amember does come with buttons you can add to any page. But they are tiny. I'll show you in a minute. But I promise you won't be making many sales with them. The second reason is that I like everything on my website to match the look and feel of my branding. This includes the buttons. I don't want a lovely looking, nicely laid out web page, only for it to be ruined by a big garish button that seems to shout at people. Yuck, I'm not a fan. Third, I want to make my customers' lives as easy as possible. I'm sure I've mentioned the Amazon approach before. On Amazon, after doing your initial search for the product you want, it will rarely take you more than 2 or 3 clicks to make the purchase. This is on purpose. The more effort you need to put into buying something, once you've decided to buy, the more likely you are to get irritated and/or distracted. So, you need to bear this in mind when trying to sell online. Finally, and most importantly, I don't want to do any more work than I have to. Anyone that says otherwise is lying. If I can use a shortcut that doesn't jeopardize quality, I will. Right, we have our reasons. Now, before showing you exactly how I create my buy buttons, I want to show you the 2 other ways you can add buttons anywhere on your site. This is mostly so that no one says, "Oh, but there's a better way." Haha, yes, there are other ways, but there are reasons they are not better. Sorry, not sorry. First up, as I said, you could use Amember-generated buttons. These are so small they absolutely will get missed. But I'll show you how to create them anyway. When I put them in one of my sales pages, you'll see why they are not great. Okay, inside Amember, you'll need to go to the Shopping Cart tab on the left-hand side. Once inside here, you'll see 3 tabs along the top. Here, you'll want to click into the button, Link HTML Code tab. Warning, we will be working with HTML code. But don't be scared, it's really simple. I promise. On this page, you'll choose your product from the drop-down. If you wanted to sell more than one product at once, you can select multiple products. But one is enough for now. Then, you'll keep the button option selected, here. And I would also always select the Add and Go to Basket option here because, for some reason, this makes it easier if people have a coupon. And in general, trust me, the other options don't convert as well. Finally, in this box, you can either add something or leave it blank. It is up to you. Then we'll just click Generate, which will take us to the next page. Here, we'll get some HTML code that we'll simply highlight and copy. Perfect. Let's head over to one of my sales pages to input this code. I will be doing this with Thrive Themes. But don't worry, the process is basically the same even if you're just using WordPress blocks. I'll show you this in a bit. Right, I would normally add a button here. You can see that I already have my normal button here, so I'll delete that. Then I'll add in another HTML code box exactly where it was. In here, literally all I do is paste the code in and save. We can already see that it is way too small. Really, you need something that pops and is obviously a buy button. If I can scroll down the page quickly and miss it, then it really isn't going to do its job. Cool. We now know for sure why that way won't work. But I promise I haven't wasted your time. You'll see why soon. So, I know what you're thinking. But Fran, surely all page builders allow you to create a button that you can add a link to. You're absolutely right. But you need something to link to. Good point, right? Let's go through this option and I'll explain as I go. I'll just quickly get rid of this tiny button and add in a normal button using my page builder. There we go. We have our button. But what do we add as a link so that the button actually does something when it is clicked? If we think of Amember, there's no link that we can create to add something directly to the cart. And we can't just link to the cart and expect people to find the products. Remember the Amazon approach? It is way too much effort. There is something we can do to create a simple URL. But, let's do it and we'll discuss it after. So, back in Amember, under the Configuration tab, we are going to click into the Forms editor. Haha, you can tell I never use this. I've had this Amember set up for over 3 years and still only have the 4 original forms set up. Die-hard users of this method may well be shaking their heads right now. But I'm confident I'll convert people to my way of thinking. Right. On this screen we want to click on the New Sign Up Form button. We'll be taken to a new page that we have to set up. Just as a reminder, if we were creating this for an actual product, we will already have set up a sales page, a product page, for the cart, a download page, and our affiliate links. And let's pretend you have 50 products to update. I'm just saying. Okay, so, we'll give our new form a name. I'll just type anything in. Catchy, huh? You can add a note here if you'll need something for your team to keep track of things. It's up to you. Then this box with the mess of numbers and letters will be used as the last part of the link we're creating. Sigh. Would I change this? Yes, I would, for many reasons, but it is really up to you. I'll come back to this. Now, below this, we have 3 columns of drag and drop building blocks. This is how we'll build our checkout page, if that's what you want to call it. The column on the far right is what we'll see on our page. There's tons you could put on it. But, remember, the Amazon approach. Keep it simple. So, I'd probably leave it as it is here. Oh, but don't forget to add in a coupon box if you need it. To make sure the right product shows up when someone clicks your buy button, we need to go in and configure the product block. So, click this configure link here. This will open up a pop-up for you to add all your product details. For this example, we just want one product to show up. So, we'll choose only products selected below. We'll then select a product. And we can probably ignore everything else because there's only one option. So, we'll click OK. Then we'll save the page. Great. Now, we can copy the URL for that form from the table here. This is the link we'd attach to a button, like the one I just created. But instead of doing this, I'm just going to paste this into an incognito window to show you what we get. Here we are. If you added the form link to a buy button, this is where your customers will land. At first glance, it looks like a good solution, right? Well, other than a little plain, sure, it looks fine. Let's dig a little deeper. What happens if I next? Oh, wait. I'm taken directly to PayPal. What if I want to add more products to my cart before I check out? You just can't. You see, the thing is, you may well be creating a handy link for your buttons with those forms, but in my opinion that's literally the only handy thing you'll be doing. It doesn't actually add anything to your customer's cart. This means they can't add more to their cart. Therefore, they'll have to check out multiple times. Plus, they can't add your products to their cart to check out later. You could add other products to the same form, so they can check the ones they want to buy. But this absolutely does not keep it simple. If someone has to do extra reading to double check they are buying the right thing, the chances of conversion go down. What does this mean? Well, it could well mean you're losing money, my friend. Not only that, but you're making your website way bigger than it needs to be. Every one of those forms counts as a web page. If you have loads of these with very little content on them, it'd be really bad for SEO. Plus, it is extra work. Like I said earlier, if you have 50 products, why would you want to create something else, on top of everything you already created, for each one? It's madness. Madness, I tell you. With all that being said, are you ready for my tried and tested method that will blow your mind? Of course you are. I can tell that you can tell that my way is the better way. Why is it the better way? Because you'll spend 5 minutes now and then just 30 seconds for every product you ever create. Instead of way too much. Right, let's get straight into it. Let's open up a PowerPoint file. It can be any size, it literally doesn't matter. You could do this on Canva. Or Photoshop even. But PowerPoint has fewer steps. So, here we are. I've actually created you a PowerPoint file with a few buttons you can play with, plus a checklist for the following steps. So, don't forget to download this below. But for now, I want to teach you exactly how to do it so you don't get lost. So, once you're settled in PowerPoint, we need to create a rectangle. Well, actually, using this method, your buy button can be anything you like. Perhaps you'll experiment with a cloud button, or a star. Ooh, a star might be cool. So, we'll go up to Shapes and choose the square. Then we'll click and drag your mouse to create your rectangle. You'll want it no bigger than 5 inches wide and around 0.78 high. Unless you make it super small, you'll need to resize it anyway. But we want the quality. So, we'll make it bigger, then we'll shrink it down after. It'll take 10 seconds. Perfect. There's our button. With it still selected, go up to the fonts box and choose an easy-to-read font that matches your brand. My go-to is Julius Sans 1. Then change the font size. Probably to about 24 point. Now type whatever you like. My button simply says, Add to cart. I put the price of each product elsewhere on the sales page. I do this so that I can use the same button again and again. Saving us work, my friend. Always saving us work. So, type whatever you wish on your button. Maybe buy now or, yes please. Literally anything you want. Once you've done that, we'll probably need to make your button look better. I mean, unless one of your brand colors is this blue, in which case you're good to go. Am I the only one that wishes that were the case? PowerPoint blue for the win. Well, if only it wasn't so ugly. Eek. Apologies if you love it. To keep this simple, I'm not going to teach you any PowerPoint tricks in this video. We're going to stick with the traditional way of doing things. So, first, with our buttons selected, we need to click into the Shape Format tab. This tab will only show up if you have a shape selected, meaning it should have orange text that helps it stand out. Okay, in this tab we want to do 3 really quick things. We want to change the button color, change the outline, and add a bit of shadow. This will take 30 seconds. To change the button color, click into the Shape Fill drop-down. This will bring up a ton of colors, but you are also free to add in your own brand colors. If you don't know how to do this, I'll soon be adding a link to a tutorial on it below. For me, this purple is my go-to color for buttons. So, I'll just go ahead and click that. And there we go. Looking better already, right? Next up, all PowerPoint shapes have a dark blue outline to start with. You'll probably want to get rid of this. To do this, next to Shape Fill, you'll see a little pencil type icon with a down arrow next to it. Click on the down arrow. Again, this will bring up a load of colors to choose from. Your outline can be any color you like, but personally I always go with no outline. Click on your choice to select it. Finally, you'll want to make this look like a button rather than a flat rectangle that does nothing. So, below the outline box we just used, you'll see a little cube icon, also with a down arrow. If you click into that, you'll get a list of different mini menus. All you need to do is hover over the word shadow, and then select the type of shadow you want. I would recommend this first, offset right, option. But the choice is yours. And there we go. We could play around with shadow settings. But this looks like a perfectly good button to me. Oh, just quickly, before we move on, please make sure you consider readability. You don't want to go to all this effort only to have a button whose text doesn't stand out. If I had just made my button a light purple, I would definitely need to go into the Home tab and change the font color. I'd change to a darker color, probably dark gray in my brand's color palette. For this darker purple, I'd use my brand's cream for my text. Just something for you to consider. Right, now we're ready to export your new button. All we need to do is right-click on the button. Then go down to where it says Save as Picture and click on that. This will bring up the standard saving box, where you can choose what to call your button and where to save it to. I'm going to save mine somewhere easy to find in a second. But the choice is yours. And we're done in PowerPoint. Personally, I save my Buy button file. If I ever want a new button, I can come in here and make quick edits to ones that I've created previously. Again, this is thinking ahead to make less work for yourself. Okay, next up, we need to make our button a bit smaller. If we look at it, you'll see that it is pretty big. This is just because of the way PowerPoint saves images. But it is important to resize it now because there's no way to do it once we get it onto Amember. There is no way to change its size like you might do a normal image. So, we need to spend 20 seconds now, otherwise we'll have a giant button. So, you need to find your new button. Mine is right here on the desktop because I'm not a Windows user and didn't want to get lost on camera. Then we're going to right-click on the file. And we'll be choosing Edit with Paint 3D. Phew, it's been a long time since I've used Paint. Okay, now we're in Paint, we need to click into the Canvas tab up here. Perfect. Now, down the right side, we need to make sure the Lock Aspect Ratio box is checked, as well as the Resize Image with Canvas box. Then we'll change the width size to around 350 pixels. This will of course depend on how wide you made your button. But if it was around 5 inches on PowerPoint, 350 pixels should be a decent size for your sales page. However, you may need to experiment with this. Once you've changed the width, hit Return. Don't worry if it looks tiny. Then press Ctrl and S together to save your new size. And then you can close down Paint. Excellent. We have our new button. Now we're ready to use it to transform our sales page and checkout process. I'm excited for you. So, let's go back into Amember. And we'll go straight back into the Shopping Cart tab on the left-hand side. Again, you'll see the 3 tabs along the top. And again, you'll want to click into the button, Link HTML Code tab. See, I told you we hadn't wasted time earlier because you already know where you're going. First, we'll select our product. Then for the Select Type of Element section, instead of button, we're going to choose Image. When you do, two buttons will appear: Upload or Browse. Before we upload our new button, let me just show you what happens if we click the Browse button. You'll see that all the buttons I've previously added are here. I could probably delete some, in fairness. But the point is, if I want to reuse a button, say if I wanted one that said $7, I could just click on the button name here, and it would be added to this setup here. But we want our brand new button instead. So, click on the Upload button. Then use the dialog box that pops up to find your new button. Once you have it selected, click on Open. And it will now be part of your Amember install. Next, choose the Add and Go to Basket option. I recommend always selecting this. It just makes everyone's lives easier and could help to increase sales in the long run. Disclaimer: don't hunt me down if you don't get more sales, please, this is not a guarantee. Okay, nearly there. You can add anything you like in this box. It will only be seen by spiders, e.g. for SEO, and screen readers for accessibility purposes. So, to combine the two, I would write something like buy the product name for $7 where product name is replaced with the actual product name. And we're done. So, click on Generate. Then we'll get that non-scary HTML code that we need to copy. Let's go back to my sales page and paste this in. Here we are. I'll put a new HTML box where I want my new button. Paste the code in, and click Save. Boom, there's our new button, guys. Personally, I always like my buttons to be centered. So, I'll just add the code to center things into my button code. I've added this exact code and where to add it, to the checklist for this tutorial. Oh, before I forget, I promised I'd show you how to add HTML code if you use WordPress blocks. It is pretty much exactly the same as I did in Thrive. With your page or post open, click on this little plus icon. This will bring up a grid of possible blocks you can add. If you don't see the custom HTML block here, you can start typing HTML here and it'll bring up the option for you. Click on the right block to add it in. This will give you a text box to type in, but it appears slightly different to a normal text box because it is specifically for code. So, just like before, simply paste your button code in and add the centering code if you wish. And that's it. When you save your page, your new buy button will be there. The shining star of your sales page. Shall we take our new button for a spin to see what a difference it makes? Okay, I've opened up an incognito window so you can see this button in action properly. Here we go, here is our new button. When we click it, I'm hoping you'll see a difference. Do you see it? The difference is that we're now in my cart, not some weird form that I had to build specifically. I didn't have to build this because the cart is a fundamental part of Amember. I also didn't need to remember to add a coupon code box, because it is already built in. Not only that, are you ready for the best bit? Let's say, your customer likes the look of a few of your products. So, they open each one up in a different tab. They've added one to their cart. So, they move on to their next tab. They love that too and decide to click the Add to Cart button on that as well. Pause. Do you remember what would have happened if we were using the form method we talked about earlier? They would have had to buy the products separately because they don't actually go into the cart. Okay, what happens if we click this second Add to Cart button? Wait for it. Oh, boom, the second product is added to the cart along with the first. So, if the customer checks out, you're going to get more than one sale. I know this has been long. But that, my friends, is how you create your own sales buttons, connect them to Amember, and adopt the Amazon approach to hopefully get more sales. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this helpful. Don't forget to check below for the free PowerPoint template, and the checklist, too. Oh, and subscribe if you want more of this. Until next time, take care and keep smiling.